Like we said, we're starting out here on Abyss, and as promised here, we're getting that double duelist for SJSU, and that more, you know, I feel like, oh wait, are we getting a double duelist over for UC at Berkeley as well?
Hey, if you can't beat them, right? I mean, you might
We
as
are,
well
yeah.
try to give it a try here. I think that double duelist really can go a long way. You talked about the explosive play style of these teams and the aggression that they're both willing to bring to the table. And if you think your opponent's going to play a composition that maybe you won't be able to lean into, well, maybe it's time to give it a play of your own, see if you can beat them at their own game.
Yeah, I am excited to see how the ISO and the Yoru are going to differ. I did get to see kind of a solo Yoru on Abyss, and I do think it's so difficult to be that solo entry on the Yoru, so I like that we're pairing Troy with Oni here, you know, cause some mind games, cause some shenanigans, and then Oni's the one that can punish off of that Yoru kit, off of those clones, off of that gate crash. You're going to be baiting your duelist duo, your partner in crime, versus for Moon and Cade, really, I think Moon's going to be more of that kind of space taker, right? You kind of like deny any of that spray down from, say, bridge or from back sight off of maybe some of this Cypher utility, and that's when Cade can kind of updraft dash into sight as well. So I think they have similar functions. It's more mind games versus kind of stability.
Yeah, honestly, incredibly well said there. I think you bring up completely inarguable points. I think this is exactly what we're going to be seeing from these teams, or at least with the intentions of these team compositions. And I know yesterday, Zhobiii, you talked a lot about the impact of Astra, that new 5-star buff that we've seen, and how she could be a really versatile agent. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see a lot of that yesterday. I've got a gut feeling, and I think with Zhobiii being, as of right now, the CECC MVP of this weekend, I think we're going to be seeing some very high-quality Astra gameplay.
Oh, for sure. What you're going to see out of them is probably they're going to be the lurk player over your Cypher, actually, especially on the B side. You'll see them get the spike down, either play main or even go for that mid wrap really late into the round because they have that comfortability, because they have that global support utility. So, I mean, both teams running that Astra, I'm hoping that they're going to be expecting that and keeping a player, you know, posted up mid even later when you are trying to retake these sites. And it's very similar for the A site as well, right? You might see some vents pressure, some rotations through there as well. Or, again, you have to find a way to dislodge that Astra. I think we actually saw that yesterday on Haven, for example, with the Astra, right? They understood they were able to fight. I think it was Prestige very easily, and it was no longer a threat.
Eliminating the threat is the name of the game thus far, and we are going to be seeing which one of these teams finds the other to be a wee bit more threatening. The Sova on both sides is going to gather so much utility and information for these teams that can really determine these early game rotations. And of course, as I talked so much yesterday, momentum is the name of the game. Winning this first round could really dictate who takes an early charge lead here on Abyss.
And again, it's mind games, right? Break the vent, send the clone, but Troy is already deep into the site off the gate crash, and unfortunately it's going to get punished. Moon, double tap up, and they are running away here. I put him on a pedestal, and they are definitely coming away with the gold medal here, at least during the pistol. One player left, a 1v4. It's going to be rough if they want that momentum shift you talked about, Septilence.
Moon just lighting up the kill feed like a Christmas tree right now. 3 eliminations on the board. Dadston last standing, and the shock dart from Khan puts him down. The pop-off in room is quite surprising. SJSU, they win that first round, only losing 1 player. Hopefully they can do that in the rounds where lives matter a wee bit more, where they need to bonus those rifles or carry those abilities into the following rounds.
Oh, for sure. You know, we didn't hear much celebration yesterday. I feel like both were very, very, you know, respectful. We heard other titles celebrating more than the Valorant guys up on stage. But SJSU, I mean, with Moon having an explosive performance like that, with, you know, a shock dart kill very seamlessly, I think they're off to a great start here, especially considering I believe this is UC Berkeley's or Cal Blue's map pick as well. So if you can take this away from them, off to a great start. And it seems like even without weapons, UCB not backing down. Don't worry.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Wait, I lied. It's SJSU's. I
lied.
It is
SJSU's. That's what I was trying to check. I was trying to make sure, but I wasn't sure. I was trying to figure it out. But hey, we got it all figured out. That's all right. We got it figured out regardless. It is a great start from SJSU. UC Berkeley going to be able to find that plant going into a 3-3 lineup. Sova, Cypher alive on both sides. So this is going to be a war of information here, trying to find out which one of these teams can get the intel they need to eliminate their opponents.
Oh, and this is close, right? Getting spiked down on Nico, greatly done.
Nice!
Some of that utility just to try and get these players off the spike, but when your player that doesn't even have a weapon is putting up haymakers, that's how you close things out as seamlessly as you can after those initial opening frags from Cal Blue.
Yeah, I mean, Yuri in a hurry to get a victory here for SJSU. 2-round win on the board, I believe, bonusing at least a Bulldog and a Guardian going into this following round. So a lot of utility online for a round that traditionally we're seeing pistols and Spectres. This extra firepower really makes this a much less of a guarantee for UC Berkeley. I'm actually really excited to see if SJSU can break that mold, break that expectation, and put themselves up 3-0 at the start of Abyss.
I think in my eyes, the fact that we did get to see UCB get the plant down is going to prevent that a little bit, because this outlaw that Cade has, right, isn't going to hit as hard when they have full shields across the board. Then again, if they have some sort of proactive play, like what we're going to see here from Moon over towards A main, that could be how you get an advantage right out the gate. But I think SJSU not really going to go for that variant instead. UCB, while they have weapons in hand, going for the risky play, going for a heavier mid presence right out the gate.
Here.
SJSU looking to play things a bit slower, and I think that's got to be the play, right? You know you've got the weapons disadvantage. You've got to go off pure mechanics. You want to hold corners and angles that you assume they're going to peak. We've got a lot of one-shot, you know, hit or miss. It's going to cost you your life if you fail weapons on the table right now on the side of SJSU, and I think they recognize that danger. That threat of an overextension could cost them not only the numbers, but the round.
And I am nervous. Like, I see the players over towards A main, they're getting the orb. Their duelists aren't there. They're like not ending over towards the A side. And especially with a frag like this on to Yuri, that should be a green light go for the B side. I mean, your Cypher's also developing, clearing out B main in the meantime as well from Dadston. So all of this just kind of setting us up for what it will inevitably be with 30 seconds left, a true to life B exec.
Interesting, an intentional shot on that flash there from Moon. Klon finds Oni, equalizing the playing field early on, 4v4. A bit of a pre-fire as that Cypher does swing the corner wide. Now Klon has nowhere to hide, has to try and take somebody down, but says goodbye to defending that B site. Spike plant from UC Berkeley to put them into a more comfortable position. With only 13 seconds left, they reset that timer. They have the numbers advantage. Zhobiii, is it more about defending site and playing slow, or trying to get SJSU to get rid of those weapons as fast as possible?
Ooh, I mean, if you can buy next round, definitely just go for this full dive in, especially when you have a plethora of utility, like, you know, the contingency, like that double tap that's active here. You also have this Astra, you know, one of the longer smokes in the game. Gravel, gonna be activated, so you're not gonna be able to get half, but Cade 3K,
Wow.
Dadston.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Really solid work from UC Berkeley there. I like the approach and the potential defuse, but unfortunately the spike audio just a bit too loud. The Astro Gravity Well is there to pull you off. Can't get out of the crossfire in time, and it does cost SJSU the round. 2-1 on the board. We're following that statistical expectation. This should likely be the round where we're going to be seeing full rifles due to SJSU's ability to bonus.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned prior, they had only carried away like a Guardian and a Bulldog.
Yeah,
so we had like a few players force up, which is where we're getting those light shields from. But I mean, with these Vandals and you're in this high of an elo, a light shield, full shield, not going to make much of a difference if there isn't an outlaw in the server. And I think what we saw from that round, first and foremost, is how important it's going to be for SJSU to get an advantage before that post plant.
So
like,
true.
You have Shocks, you have Astra. Like, it's so hard to retake against that. It's quite literally post plant simulator, and you need to find a way to just prevent or, you know, alt F4 that game all together. And we'll see if that's what Moon is toying with over here towards A main.
The approach toward A site is a fascinating one to me, due to the fact that, you know, it's worked 50% of the time. It seems like UC Berkeley is going to be going toward the A site because, hey, if it ain't broke. But going into this is almost that sense of predictability, that air of repetitive nature early in game that can become predictable and kind of be a thorn in the side later. Am I reaching a bit too far into the future? Perhaps, but I do think it's important to note if a team repeats the same default back-to-back, I think it's an early sign of a team that may be running into a bit of exhaustion. They want to try to win off what they know best. When you're playing at this caliber of game, you have to be making new plays, not repeating the same ones.
Well, we are still in the early stages, as you mentioned here, and we got a different look here. Both duelists focusing fully onto this A site, but there was a stack here. Both duelists for SJSU.
Wow.
And the Astra Thane is insane. But unfortunately, Oni's still alive, shuts them down, 30 HP. They are alone and trying to just buy time until Dadston can join them and hopefully, you know, bring this back for UCB, but time's against them.
Time is very much against them. Only 9 seconds left on the clock. You need 4 point some odd seconds to cap, or to plant, excuse me, and they're looking for that time now. They find it. Spike plant down. Numbers certainly not in their favor. Dadston equalizing just a bit, but looks the wrong way. Cade 3K takes him down, takes that third round on the board, and UC Berkeley does fall just a wee bit further behind, but nothing to worry about as we are only 4 rounds into map number 1.
No, I really liked SJSU and how, you know, they let their players that were on site pop off, right? Thane falls, Moon falls, but they take a few with them, and then they just wait, right? They confirm, okay, plan's gonna go down, let's not expend players where we don't have to, let's wait for that confirmation, right? They're okay giving away some play. I mean, like you said, it's early stages, and they know that just if they're dominant on the rounds, eventually they're gonna break the bank for UCB. So then they take those duels, you know, together. They don't, you know, take any chances there. So 3-1 here for SJSU. Now that we're to the rifle rounds, now that we're to the meat, it is starting to shift. We'll see if SJSU can keep it up.
Early lineup here. And a beautiful one at that. Gets that early read. Gives us a little bit of early information that we can peek up. We can approach that ult orb if need be. But as the Astra Star goes up, I anticipate the wide swing. Blade Storm from UC Berkeley, though, makes a little bit of noise toward the B site instead. A split approach for, I believe, the first time. Now, there's no commitment to either side yet, but to make noise so intentionally is a strategy we haven't seen from Berkeley yet.
Yeah. I do like how they've been clearing out A main in different ways. Right? Sometimes it's just a reclash to start to prevent that early aggression. Sometimes it's the drone. Sometimes it's just that dart lineup here. So they're changing things a little bit so that SJSU doesn't feel confident going for that advantage that I mentioned is going to be so pivotal here for the defensive half. But the other thing that they can do is just get these gamble stats correct, right? 3 from over to A, now 3 on B this round, and they're still where UCB is ending.
Guys, it's that easy. Just get it right. You know, just get the gamble stat correct. Hey, either you're right or you're wrong. You got to be one of them. And Cade right now trying to make sure that SJSU's made the right choice. Oni, however, different plans on the board. Cuts that dream short with the Blade Storm elimination onto Cade. 4v2. UC Berkeley in really good energy and position to try and win this round.
Yeah. And look at who's deposited. Dadston in mid, so even if players start to fall back site, they're just going to start moving forward as soon as they get the call from the IGL in there. It will come through. Like I said, it's so hard to dodge these close plans. Guns over. And look at this! Oh.
Wow, Moon tries to be the hero, gets darn close. A beautiful double play with that double tap to keep them up and running, but unfortunately just going to fall a wee bit short. The lock-in continues. We're separated by 1 round once more.
Yeah. UCB not going down without a fight, and that was a pseudo thrifty, right? Hugely off of the entry on the Blade Storm from Oni, and like 3 players there, we said it. They got the gamble stat correct, but unfortunately just pieced apart. I mean, some nice utility there. I think that was a flash entry again from Choi. Like I said, they're setting up. That's what I love about these double duelist compositions, is you can stand your own if your partner falls, but one of them is meant to set the other up for success. And that's your ISO and Yoyoru. And so far, Troy, you know, making a case for themselves here, but look at this. SJSU has their own eco strategy up their sleeve. Let's see if it can convert the same as UCB's did. Okay. B-site deserted. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's a little confusing to be Troy in this moment, I'm sure. You go into that B-site and find a whopping nobody for a moment. You get a little bit of information there with Bucky in hand. Goes for the blind fire, reveals which weapon they have. I think that's really going to encourage SJSU to play this slower or to swing as a group. Now, Troy does put down 1. The Sheriff in return, Hunter Fury out early from UCB. Should be able to try and tie things up, and it's going to even take the lead with that elimination off the back of Oni. 4v2. Oh, saw that.
I thought they were falling off twice for a second.
Close, way too close for comfort for sure. But Oni stays up, puts down Khan. 4v1. Wow! Ooh. Milliseconds of reaction time and hurry dismissed from the Mortal Coil. UC Berkeley ties us up 3-3 here on Abyss.
And again, a few different variables there for UCB and their success this round. SJSU go for the gamble push down mid, so 3 players, and then they double down and rotate to the A site, an incorrect read that forces them to retake with those disadvantaged weapons, which we said is already difficult on a rifle round. My only thing that I gotta critique, you know, with my analyst mind is,
of course,
UCB used both the Dimensional Drift, the Cosmic Divide, and Hunter Fury on an eco round for SJSU. Like, I don't know if they just didn't know that there wasn't going to be a bye, if they just wanted to solidify a tied game here because they're worried about mentality and snowballing.
That's my thought process.
But
I think so.
Regardless, SJSU has weapons and ults now, so they have an easy time hopefully bouncing back here.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these teams have lost a single map up to this point, and I think that is going to be a little bit of the fear factor on the side of UC Berkeley, is they have not had to play from a disadvantage, which means I think they're going to use as many ultimates as they have to try and make sure that does not change right now. I think it was really critical for maybe their team mentality or play style to try and take a tie or a lead. But like you said, it's going to be a lot of hindsight. It's going to be a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda, and we're going to have to see if those ultimates could have been more impactful later. For now, this round currently in favor of UCB shows those ultimates may have been worthwhile after all.
And Thane now toying with the idea of a save here. Maybe gonna see if they can find Zhobiii first. The timing is good. The shots line up as well. So 1v3, maybe that could give them some confidence to search for more, but nope. Just gonna cut their losses here. And again, I think what we just saw there was really clean trades out of Cal Blue on the site, right? Like from the frag out, the jump up, from the, you know, I think it was Khan being on an island, Goat popping off as well from backside. And that's what we gotta see, is maybe some more util commitment, some more coordination from SJSU on those retake attempts. Maybe they also weren't expecting, because of previous rounds, how UCB's just been immediately vacating the site to play those post-plant utility positions, and they were all there ready to fight. So you talk about like keeping things fresh, Septilence, they definitely changed things up about how they play that B post-plant. Without
a doubt. I mean, they honestly made me eat that analysis almost immediately, and I'm more than happy to do so. I truly and completely am ready for this team to keep trying new strategies. And there's this phrase that I use so often of, you have to rewrite the rule book, right? You've really got to come through. You cannot be bringing out those default, those basic, those expected plays. And I think UC Berkeley is actually doing a really, really good job at doing that. They're not giving us repetition anymore. The first 2 rounds, maybe I was a little bit too early with that analysis, but they've gone in with a different approach, I think, all 7 rounds we've seen thus far. And that's a tough thing to do.
No, for sure. And here we go. SJSU. They do have still these ults, right? Like K3K with the blades, that could be huge this round, especially when you have a hero rifle for Thane. And I think that's why Thane didn't hand it off, say, to Moon or to Cade, because that is the goal here. And now I talked about it earlier, how you wanted to find this early advantage. Cade is finally doubling down, taking that risk, and it is going to pay off.
4-3, but UC Berkeley going down here. Will this lead be short-lived? Now, the benefit, as you mentioned a moment ago, is that this is an eco round for SJSU, which means that Bladestorm, I think, is going to be the most pivotal second in line that hero rifle play. If SJSU loses either of those, of course, it becomes that much more monumental. But with a slow approach toward a possible site pick here, patience, it really seems to be the name of the game. Yesterday, we analyzed a lot of really explosive teams and play styles, and today, I'm sensing quite the opposite. These teams, if they approach a site, they want to be positive. It's the site they go to pick, and with the defensive split we're seeing from SJSU, it's going to be tough for UC Berkeley to make, quote-unquote, the right choice.
Yeah, I was seeing some wish-washy nature from SJSU in those rotations, right? 3 players leaving B, sticking around mid, waiting for any ounce of information or utility. And I think that Sovafig kept players over towards the A side, but they realized that B might not meet the eye. And Troy on the exit, finally Cade might be ahead of them. Oh!
That's Spike, too. That Spike down in a technical off-map location, possibly the hardest spot to go grab it. Moon has taken Zhobiii out of the equation here in SJSU, 5v2 on their eco round. This is exactly what the team needed to not only get back in the game, but I think really tee themselves up for a possible next round win. K3K lives up to the name, puts an extra one on the board, and our first thrifty significantly earlier than yesterday.
Yeah, we are 100% for eco round conversions when a Bladestorm is popped in the game. Each jet, you know, utilizing that ultimate to a perfection, opening up the round, and the solidification there as well. And I think something else that came to mind was just the coordination that I said was lacking on a retake prior was there from the get-go. Moon, utility beautiful to bail Cade out. The dart, or sorry, I should say the drone from heaven as well from Khan to set up those additional frags with the blades, with the deagle where Moon peeked and also was able to get one. All of that is beautiful, and it starts, you know, repairing the economy a little bit, so much so that Cade can now buy an operator. We talk about different looks. This is definitely going to be a novelty factor.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because that is the first thing that caught my eye. First operator we're going to be seeing of the series, of the day on stream, of course. Oh, no way. They don't know Smile. Oh, but he gets him anyway. K3K dismisses that counter jet on the board. 4-4, 5-4 advantage for SJSU.
Oh no.
Oh no. Do they know Smile?
Zhobiii. Well, I think now they're past it. They've repositioned to hold the deeper angle here if they decide to follow through towards security. Troy trying to make this seem like an A pinch, and with Spike headed over towards A main, that might just be the case. I really want to see Thane push into A main and clear out half of this puzzle, but pieces are starting to fall into place. Troy's position, known here, out towards heaven. Shield pop. They wanted to take the fight, and Troy's just not going to give it to them.
Thane does find 2 eliminations there for SJSU. A flawless after a thrifty, I think, could be a really strong indicator of the tide turning here in this combat. Zhobiii finds Khan, though. Flawless no longer. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought Moon was a shoo-in to be sent to the stars, but K3K takes Troy out of the way. Moon finds Zhobiii and SJSU 2 rounds in a row, 5-4 on the board. The lead there's once more.
Yeah, and I feel like UCB there just kind of gambled between the high potential play of that flank from Troy and Zhobiii and the stability that would have been Troy taking these fights head on over towards that site to help get GOAT out of A main onto site with that spike for the objective. And I think part of that, you know, insecurity was the fact that the operators posted up towards security. There's also obviously the shield. You hear it getting audibly popped as well. And aside from that, they don't know the off's online, so now that's going to be extra utility they have to invest to clear it out, and you're still not going to invest it on look at this!
I mean, GOAT was just running in there, gets put down in the blink of an eye. Cade and the operator have finally fallen. Troy on this Yoru, I've been waiting so long to see kind of a loud impact, and we have yet to see that opportunity. Has that ultimate online, and this could be the round where they pop it. Just getting the intel on where one of these 4 remaining members are absolutely turns the tide of this fight. And UC Berkeley, they need to tie things up because, like I said, I'm really starting to sense an SJSU lead. They hear my commentary, they hear the idea, they feel the energy, they bring that ultimate out. And I want to see if much can be done with it.
It looked like it was going to be a fake as well. Now they know there's 2 players here, but if you find both kills, it might not matter. Mind games, rest of the team entrusted to hold down this site. But here comes that combo, ISO Hunter's Fury. It forces them to delay the plants, and that just allows more time for these rotations out of SJSU.
The rotations through. Spike plant down back on the A set. First time in a long time, I think we're actually getting a spike plant. It's been a little while since we've had to see one. But with the timer being reset, Dadston doubling the lead here. Wow, why was that unshootable? My goodness, Khan gets caught out. Zhobiii goes for the rotation, Cyber Cage up. Yuri uses the relocation gravity well very early.
Talk about a Zhobiii, this thorn in their side from heaven, but there's other beauty. It's pulled out instantaneously, and Yuri in the 1v1. Cypher and Dadston to teach a child a lesson. Very nicely done here to keep Cal Blue on the forefront.
Dadston just really one Cypher, gracefully dismissing another. And let's take a look at how close this leaderboard is right now. 11 to 9, 9 to 8, 7 to 6, 7 to 6, 3 to 4. I mean, if that doesn't show how close this is for all 10 players in lobby right now, that I don't know what possibly could. There's so often we'll see a game tied up and 2 players have 30 elims each, right? But this goes down to show the individual value of all 5 players on both teams. This game could be different in either direction if any player was playing even the slightest bit different. And that goes to show the value of all members of every team.
And we're not even getting the Zhobiii like MVP that we were promised either. They're playing that support role. They're playing those high impact positions, like I mentioned when we were analyzing these compositions, right? They were vents. They were playing their util. They were playing that delay and trusting their teammates like Dadston to close it out. So giving the spotlight over, sharing the love here to tie things up 5 to 5. And this round is gonna be huge for determining who I think could get an advantage at the half.
This round possibly the most pivotal we've seen thus far, as these teams, like you said, both desperate for that advantage going into the second half of Abyss. Map number 1 of what is a best-of-3 series. A lot of utility use early on this B side, but is it all for naught? Is it just to make some noise and reassess? It certainly seems like that's what Berkeley's going to be doing. The dart on the catch, the intel given, and I'm shocked Berkeley's still standing steadfast toward B.
All right, 30 seconds left.
Now they have to.
I like that SJSU sticking around here. You also see that Sophie utility. Usually it's over towards A that you see that fake Yuri's position reveal. They're gonna need support from their team, and unfortunately those reinforcements have also been dealt with. Whoa.
Guys, I think he might know exactly where you are. This is gonna be a tough one for SJSU to try and win, even with this additional location information. Wow, Cade rightfully dismissed, forgot to turn around. Moon finds that wallbang onto Zhobiii, ties us up 3 to 3. Hunter's Fury out, and UC Berkeley doing it again here, Zhobiii, using just every ultimate they've got.
SJSU, though, used one of their own, and it's gotten the spike to have. They're trying to stick it all the way through. These players funneling through to their demise. The spike is essentially defused as Oni, the last will fall. And finally, SJSU cracked the code on the B side retake, and it really was, in my mind, off of that Cosmic Divide. Danny, just huge there. And also, like, the fact that Khan fell so early and Yuri was just patient, waiting for the rest of the team to get there. All of that, just perfection here. And UCB now asked to tie things up 6-6 with, suboptimal weapons. I mean, look, we got every gun under the sun at this point. Bucky, Stinger, Vandal, like...
What a polite way to say it, Zhobiii. what a polite way to say it. I mean, some underwhelming weapons on the board here in Troy.
Like
Not even going to get to use theirs. Yeah, I mean, 5-4 here as Cade just opens that door even further for SJSU. 7-5 into the half. Of course, that lead so valuable, so pertinent to finding success in the rest of this map. And SJSU certainly looking to put themselves in the winner's seat. One of these teams losing a map for the first time this entire qualifier. UC Berkeley desperate to try and make sure it isn't them.
Zhobiii saying, all right, I gotta take things into my own hands here. Be that entry player. No more impact player. No more utility support. And fortunately, someone else is going to get that starring role. Goat ass to deliver, and they are going to refute the death contract from Moon. Stay alive, keep things a 4v4.
Back to the game of patience, the game of cat and mouse. Recon Bull will go out, smokes go up to hide some locations, and Fanny knows they've been seen, chooses to stick to it because it doesn't matter! Fanny 2K, Zhobiii gets the transfer, but SJSU off that Fanny play does just barely have a numbers lead.
I like how thorough they're being. Definitely a timing diff. But the question mark now arises. They have not seen Oni. Now position revealed on that spike recovery mission. Nice little jiggle from Khan.
Hello.
And this is raw.
Oh, yeah, the double swing there. Great coordination from SJSU. If they swung that one at a time, maybe this world Oni takes it, but they know that mistake. They've made it hundreds of times before, and they want to make sure they never make it again. Double swing goes out. Oni falls short, and now 7-5 as we enter the second half.
And again, that's really clean, I feel like, for your defensive half when you have a
100%.
double duelist. And now it's going to be a question mark of who can play that post plant kind of better with these slightly different compositions, right? Like the difference is going to be like you're either blinded from the Yoru or, you're vulnerable from the ISO when you're trying to tap that spike. And I'm curious to see kind of if that's going to really make a difference or if it's really just going to be played to a team. We might see overtime in the near future.
OT at this rate, I wouldn't even be partially surprised. I mean, we have been so neck and neck, so back and forth. The largest lead we've seen thus far is 3. Yesterday, it was 12. So I think overtime is a bit more likely, especially with these two teams. I mean, statistically speaking, the best of the best as they enter this matchup. And I'm hoping that SJSU can continue to give us a great matchup. Ooh, Troy into Yuri. Wow, every bullet under the sun chooses to run instead of go having a bit more fun. Oni into Cade here mid. Could be disastrous on either side. And it looks like it's going to fall in favor of SJSU. A double tap here could be lethal, but Troy instead finds the equalizer, opening the door for Berkeley once more.
Again, it's this 4v4 as the dust settles. One duelist lost for both sides, the Jets at that. So things are going to get slowed down a little bit, right? Because you can't scale up with that space as quickly. More so for SJSU when you have an ISO, so you got to rely on fragability on this ISO shield. And unfortunately, with Dadson and this God Cam that finally is destroyed, they know how many players are in sight. They know what this is going to look like, and Dadson's aware.
Oh my goodness, Yuri, impeccable reaction time. SJSU on the lead here in the pistol round. If they find this win, I think that could be a really good defining play of how the rest of this half just may go. I can't even finish my prehensile awareness or analysis there before it's even 4-1 on the board. Dadson, a bit of a maniac, though. Let's see if that Lanimal can come back out.
And again, I like when an Astra pick allows your Cypher to get active, play their utility on site, play in the face of the opponents, and definitely think Yuri got revenge for that Dadson clutch from the first half with kind of locking in the second pistol here for SJSU. Both now going their way. We talk about snowballing and momentum. That's how you keep the lead here on your map pick.
The lead here goes a long way and it continues to grow. Of course, this is going to be a buy-up round as the game often demands. SJSU, are we going to be seeing a hero rifle? Is it Guardians and Bulldogs? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to wait 8 more seconds with only a couple of classics in hand on the side of UC Berkeley. Zhobiii, this is another one of those rounds way back at the beginning. You just play corners and right-click. You do not face forward. Yeah. You do not swing a corner. You've got to hope and pray they cross your path because winning this rifle pistol, I mean, it is such a big ask.
And this buy is so much heftier for SJSU than it was in the last half, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be looking for them to have more perfection. I think it was 3 players last time surviving. They had to force up a few additional weapons. Versus this time, you have 2 Vandals. And I think you're going to want to hold on to those. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is not let UCB have an in back in once they have weapons in hand. And if you think back to that last second round buy-up, who had the most impact? It was Yuri with the Ghost. So the mid mind games, trying to draw players over, doesn't quite work out.
It's almost like SJSU has decided to mirror the exact approach that UC Berkeley continued to take. On our way in, they'd make noise one side and the other. They'd go for a split push, and then with about 40, maybe 30 seconds left, they'd dedicate themselves to one site. Now we haven't hit that 40-second marker until just now, and look, there it is, almost like clockwork. They've chosen to dedicate themselves to a site. They go in. It's a ghost town, guaranteed spike plant, 400 additional credits going into the next round, and that's assuming, or that's beyond the point of if they win this round.
And I like this Moon, one of the players that has a weapon, but not the Vandal.
Yeah.
Just trying to get proactive, trying to keep or maintain that space they established here. What we're going to have to see is just power and numbers out of UCB. Maybe somebody gives off the Yoder clone, which is what they're going for, but the timing has to click, and here it all comes into fruition.
Oh, the Bulldog wallbang. Oni falls. Troy dismissed. Zhobiii and Dadson don't even get to play the game. The Fanny 3K almost guarantees a victory for SJSU. And there it is, the wide swing corner peak, 4K on the board. Fanny's 9th round win for SJSU. They're only 4 shy of ending Abyss in their favor.
Yeah, Moon gets a little ahead of themselves, denies, you know, the flawless that could have been, but they were more looking like they're like, Daddy, go for this. I want to set you up for your clip here on the LAN in Sacramento, California. And that's what they did. The 4-piece, really, really clean. I mean, it's exactly what I asked for. I want them to have a really hefty buy coming to this round for the opportunity to get that 3-0 in this half, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, the 3-0 in this half, I think, I mean, is it nail in the coffin territory at that point? It's going to be really difficult for UC Berkeley to try and get that economy back in time to have the place, maybe a couple of ultimates in the following rounds, can keep that coffin lid off of them for the time being. But SJSU, I mean, it just feels like they can SJS do no wrong here. This team continues to go in, continues to give very strong approaches and entries onto site. A site will be in their favor. Spike plant down again. They are already planting more consistently than UCB was able to. Gotcha.
UCB is giving too much respect to SJSU, right?
I agree.
They're letting them have the sites. They're playing for these procedural retakes, but then they're expecting SJSU not to retaliate, right?
Yep.
That's exactly what we saw. Retaliation, spray through the smoke, death contract. You saw it, right? The Yoder was ready with utility to reflood in, and that was completely denied. Probably caught unawares. Now that 3v5, that bonus conversion is coming into fruition.
Goat sprinting not just into but across the entire site, trying to get a new angle here from one side to another. We hear that spike entering the ladder tick phase, and unbeknownst to these players, they are standing just inches away from a firing squad who now rushes in, trying to find an exit frag. UC Berkeley trying to bonus the weapons they have available, and SJSU doing the near same. Not a flawless round in execution. Oh, the body block would have been wild. Would have been wild.
Oh, from the Moon push into B-Link to Complay in some games with Yuri, you can tell what the vibes are like in the SJSU camp now that they've reached double digits. And if you think back to yesterday, we had a grand total of what, 0 timeouts? Well, we get one here out of UC Berkeley.
I don't think we had even one timeout yesterday. I think this is the first one we've had the chance to see thus far. And while we're in this timeout, we can talk a little bit about the fact that, earlier I saw those eliminations on the scoreboard. It was a 1 elim difference or a 2 elim difference. Now, Moon to Goat, 15-11. Cade to Oni, 15-11. Fanny to Troy, 14-7. And it continues to go down and out like that. So these players finding themselves in a difficult scenario as it seems like the SJSU gap continues to grow. Very reminiscent of our Overwatch series just earlier today where Arizona State, they started a little bit slow. They were down 2-0 and they fully reverse swept. It almost feels like that same energy of, hey, just give us a minute.
No, for sure. And I mean, Pro would be their map pick up next, the newest map, right? Like I said, they both have played this map, so they're not necessarily in the dark, but it definitely, like, you won't have everything figured out. So there's more room for on-the-fly calling versus Abyss has been in the pool for quite a hot minute now. Interestingly enough, UCB, we talked about it. The fact that they saved these weapons is going to be huge coming into this round.
Oh, yeah.
You'll lose this round, like half of you have a buy, and you're kind of constrained here until probably the end of the map.
Until last round,
yeah. Yeah. And this is not what I would. I don't know if I would be chancing that.
Yeah, we've got some bold takes early on here. A really fascinating approach from Oni. They do get hit by that vulnerable wave. They are going to have to rotate back to this B site, and I think SJSU hitting the B site makes a lot of sense. I think they were able to execute some victories a bit more consistently on B. Now, we've only seen a couple of rounds, but Danny wants to make sure that I see them getting eliminations on every site. The A site as well. Double on the board here. 5-3 in round 17. 16. Darn it.
Math is hard.
Math is
but
so hard.
Aside from that, what else it is difficult is, I mean, refuting this site take, right? Cosmic divides up. I talk about the security that ISO utility as well is going to bring. Like, we talked about how they were kind of letting them take these sites. Well, this was like, no question about it.
Yeah.
And toyed with the idea of flanking here, but there's so much utility. The spy cam, the trap wire. And you might just be going for exits or for another round save here. And that's, I was gonna say, give us some time to talk, Septilence, because it felt like UCB from one end of the radar to the complete opposite, right? From too passive to way too proactive. When we mentioned that those guns they had in hand were special. Yeah.
I mean, I think you bring up such a good point, right? It's because they're realistically making the same analysis that we are. There are so many rounds where SJSU's going in, they're finding no opposition, and UCB isn't able to really work on that retake. So they probably had the same thought we did of, okay, we got to get a bit more aggressive. But I think they just oversent it. Like you said, I think they just have too much time on the clock here. They're just rushing in, trying to find Elims. They're trying to elevate Zhobiii into being that MVP that we've seen so aggressively here today. But unfortunately, if you overextend, if that plan isn't in line, it can really end up costing you the way it has started to cost UC Berkeley. 11-5 on the board, a flawless half thus far for SJSU. Will that continue into the next two rounds? At this point, Zhobiii, I really feel like the numbers point to yes.
Yeah. And I think the reason for them playing for those exit frags there is, yes, Zhobiii deserves that spotlight, but they also were just trying to get some of these ults online. Like you said, could be the bailout if that's kind of snowball starts careening down the hill. And unfortunately, I don't think they got enough here. Like, we're one off, I think, from the dimensional drift, and that's about it. And I don't think that's going to be a round or a game-changing ultimate usage here, especially when they have just been kind of playing for these retakes. But they do get one silver lining here, and that is the emergence of the operator, this time for their own jet, for Oni here. And again, novelty factor. You're not going to be expecting this from SJSU, especially when you have kind of beaten them down as much as you have. You don't expect that from the economy, period.
For the first time on the side of SJSU, it almost feels like they've slowed down for just a moment here. We're not getting that first 15-second elimination. We're not getting that push into sight of that immediate util activation. Instead, it's almost like they're trying to outplay UCB's continued momentum shift. Double tap goes out, Boone goes down, but the trade is there. The sandbag Elim does find Dadston out early, and that's a lot of utility offline for UC Berkeley. In a way, that's going to open up the site. A faux dash onto high ground. Sash might be looking one way. Oh, into another goat. Can't get the rifle out in time. And this could be another round win for SJSU. We're going to need not quite a miracle, but a near flawless play from the three surviving members to put UCB back into the mix.
I can't tell if that dash was purposeful.
I'm going to say it was. I'm going to say it was. I think he did it on purpose so they'd think he left high ground.
I mean, it definitely worked out, right? So Zhobiii probably like, hey, Jet's on site. You don't have to clear out heaven. And then we saw what happened. You lose your info initiator. And now you just got to take these contact engagements, and unfortunately, they're not going to go your way. Yeah,
I think that's why he had the rifle out, or that's why he had the knife out and everything. Nobody was supposed to be up there, you know. The call came through. He was not able to find that pick in time. Speaking of picks, Con takes down Zhobiii and Oni. Probably going to try to save this rifle into what could be our penultimate round, but blink and you miss it. You jump in and out. Yuri takes him down, and with round 17 coming to a close, that is map point, excuse me, for SJSU.
A in caster math this time, Septilence. Good job.
I did it! I did it!
Yeah! And I mean, I appreciate what you mentioned from SJSU in that they kind of like slowed things down, right? They set the seeds that were then going to sprout into a beautiful A split, right? They had that heavy mid presence. They were sending bullets that made it look like maybe a B split. They broke the vet and then they disengaged, right? They're like, okay, you got to doubt if we are there or not. And then once they're in position, they go really, really quick and they get those trades and they keep numbers in their favor from the get-go. But look at this, right? You don't have weapons. You got to gamble stack. And unfortunately, this mid and A side lean is going to leave B open for the taking.
Now that dash, I think, was a missed one. I'll say it. I think he was supposed to be on the high ground there, but hey, accidents happen. Already 5v4.
Oh.
San Jose State University just 4 eliminations away from going up 1-0 in grand finals, but UCP will not go quietly into that good night. 2 players down. Match advantage for SJSU. The contract is up. Oh! And Dadston is down. We're tied right back up 3-3.
Oh, and the double swing trying to go for those trades, but it's all on Moon. 20 HP. Again, you don't have any information. You got to dry swing it. And that, again, I mean, similar occurrence. It's off of that cosmic divide, just showing how you need to keep some players on site there. And unfortunately, just does not go their way. I did like how Oni kind of like baited Dadston into the ult, and Dadston as well, right? They weren't trying to win that fight. They were trying to keep Moon in the ult, like the goal for as long as they could, because that's a major, like I said, ultimate disadvantage, or sorry, util disadvantage now when you don't have those vulnerabilities to fight up against.
Yep, those vulnerabilities go such a long way. Not only is the ultimate quite strong for ISO, but those vulnerabilities are a huge part of the reason that he could be considered viable in a lot of circumstances like this. And as Moon was taken out of the equation.
Oh
no.
You want to talk about that, Danny? Where even was it? Where on the map was it?
I think we're experiencing a wee bit of technical difficulty. I'm gonna wait to get a little bit more confirmation here.
Yeah, the team is not moving at all.
Yeah, the entire team disconnected. They're back into the game though, so we're gonna have to see what's gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised if this does end up turning into a break in a minute, but everybody's back for now, so let's keep working with what we've got as we are only 1 round away here on the lineup. Yeah, patient. Oh, I think that's a DC again. We'll find out in a second. I'm not gonna pre-guess here. Let's call the round like it's happening normally for the time being. I'm seeing some look-arounds. I'm seeing some actual WASD movement here, so everybody might be back into the mix.
Imagine SASU still wins this, right? You lost your Astra. You have no smokes for this A exec. Running through the Astra utility. The Jet, Sudge, Bubby, the Hunter, Shiri. Like, they're throwing everything into this to confirm the 4v5. And somehow they still find 2. Khan could do this. You know the Silva's really far away from that ultimate. You get the question mark maybe about where the Yoder is, but you can at least get the plant down.
The Khan clutch could go crazy here.
4 bullets.
4 bullets on the roster. Using the blue Gaia, though, one of my favorite skin sets in the game.
Aww.
Really, I know, how exciting. Really excited to see if this works out well. 4 down to 2, just the shield broken, a wee bit of damage onto Goat. The refusal to reload, I think, gonna cost him there. Troy finds it, UCB. They jump over that halftime hurdle. They put a 7th round win on the board, and now only 5 rounds separate these teams from a tied-up game. SJSU just gotta clutch it out one more time.
Yeah, I mean, you got 5 opportunities, and we'll see if anything comes out of that disconnect or that Astra falling as early as they did. But a great attempt from Khan. Maybe the, thoughtless plant location kind of doing them in there a little bit because it set them up for that really nice high-low with a nasty off angle from the Yoder. But it does feel like we're getting some discussion, behind the squad about what might have happened there. I mean, that's rough. Like I mentioned, how pivotal the Astra is on this map. I mean, not only you lost your primary smokes, which is fundamental for these execs, right? Smoke off bridge, smoke off heaven. But you didn't get that post-plant util.
Yeah, that post-plant util did not come through, and we're definitely getting confirmation now. I can see some players talking in the match chat just about what happened, because one of the teams knows and the other doesn't know yet. So they said, hey, we TC'd for the first 40 seconds of that map, and then Danny's like, yeah, that's also why I fell off the map. Now, is that true? I guess we'll never know, but Danny did fall off the map, and that round was definitely a weird one. But we're getting the server set up. We're getting sure that these players can play these grand finals to the very best of their abilities, as that is, of course, of the utmost important to us here at the CECC. So we're going to be seeing what these players can do going into round, I don't know, number in just a minute here. So we're going to see what round comes
18?
up next. 18. Oh no,
was it 12-7 or 12-8?
We're going for a repeat of that round due to the disconnect. So they're going to go ahead, reset the round, force the rollback comes in. Love that. That is a possibility, by the way. Super helpful for situations just like this. So that's going to be super exciting to see. We're going to go ahead and reset that matchup here and see if the same story tends to be told.
Yep, 5 turns into 6 opportunities now. That means for SJSU to put their map pick to bed. And I mean, the fact that they got to now maybe see a little bit of what those ults invested look like to deny that ace side, it's a little rough for Where. I think, like, that's what I hate about rollbacks, is it does feel like, you kind of...
You can't unuse the ult, right? Like you can't undo the round even if it has to be replayed. Your strategy's out there, the ults you wanted to use are out there. Like it goes for almost a forced reset. I mean, it is literally a forced reset. I don't know why I'm saying almost.
Yep.
It is a forced reset there, and I think it's going to be really fascinating to see if the same round happens. I mean, Zhobiii, is it like an honor thing? Do you just run it down the same way you just did? Do you use and learn from that? What is kind of the meta of a rollback like that?
I think you try to be respectful in the best way that you can.
Yeah.
I think you're still gonna know, like, okay, we need to bait out this Astra util because there is a suck there. Like, they know, or they can have a stark reminder of the availability of the Hunter's Fury, that's for sure. Because that's basically what did most of them in, such but be able to punish off of it. But this is a change. Oni, you know, going aggressive instead ahead of this, and this is what we were gonna see right from Thani, was the Cosmic Divide exec here yet again. But look, there's a 3-stack behind it this time.
Yeah, Cosmic Divide is going to be a great way to split this site early on. Moon goes for plant. Hunter's Fury into the perfect location to disrupt that plant. Buys a little bit of time, but having this site presence this early into the round, I assume we're going to be seeing another plant in just a second here.
I really want to see Gravel pull them off while they're planting into the void, but fortunately does not happen, and neither does a plant. The wall expires, and they're just holding their ground, ready to take these engagements off of it. 5v3 now. I mean, they had that honorable exec here, but such a different outcome.
Yeah, a very different outcome here. One that really may lend itself to SJSU. Now down but not out is a phrase that I love for situations just like this. Dadson finds Yuri, takes them out of the equation here. One Cypher dismisses another.
Trip.
A lot of information. That was a wild trip. A lot of information off the table for SJSU, including that neural theft.
Yep, they want to frag in order to kind of guide them into where it has to go. And it's doing just that, but it's not enough when Cade and Thani and their Sovacon are all swinging at the same exact time. 13-6, the rollback goes in favor of SJSU. They, you know, remedy history. They right their wrongs, and they are going to claim their map pick in a semi-dominant fashion.
I'm surprised. I really am. I didn't expect to see KO or Fade. Astra, I think, is the only pick so far that I'm like, oh, for sure, she was going to be here.
Well, I think what I'm seeing here is, like, them, like, it's like old meta and new meta trying to shake hands in this SJSU composition. Like,
wait, you're
when
so
Pearl
real for
first
that.
came out, I think it was like Killjoy was like the go-to. Same with the Astra, same with the Sova.
Sure.
And then I think they're like, all right, we got to get the Neon in there. She's just broken. And I am a little bit surprised of a KO over, say, a Fade, but I think it's really just for the flashes more than anything. Maybe they realized with their last composition, like, the Randaliers weren't enough. They need true to life flashes here. And I also think it's going to be really, really good, especially, let's say, on those B sites. Just buy down the timer even more. Like, literally, I look at all these agents and I see post-plant, post-plant, post-plant. Like, timing.
Yeah.
And with, I mean, they are starting on the defense again, which is like for the entire series, so we're gonna have to be waiting to see that. But I think this is a really promising composition on this map, even if it's not what we were expecting.
A really promising composition indeed, Zhobiii. I think you bring up a really great point about post-plant. And I like what you said about, you know, when this map came out, it was so Killjoy-centric. And I had the thought, I think every map that has come out starts off Killjoy-centric. I think every single map.
It's just so easy.
Yeah, people are like, oh, it's a KJ map. It's a KJ map. Yeah, and it's like a lot of them really haven't been anymore these days. You know, when I think of Killjoy, I think of Ascent for sure. That's the biggest one. That you know, she just lives there so great on that B site. And going into Pearl here, I think that story is flipped. I think this is going to be an KJ A site situation. Of course, as I say that, Yuri's headed the wrong way. So my fault on that one.
I think what the Killjoy brings to the table is more attack side benefit again, right? You have the mollies for post plant, and also like it's like a one-way ticket into an A side exec. Like unless you have a Sova ult online, which there's not even a Sova in the UCB composition, there is no way to contest that. You just have to, you know, vacate site and respect it. So I'm gonna really need to see Yuri step up just to get frags early on, so we can get that cycling of, you know, that lockdown, even if it is the most expensive ultimate in the lobby. But pistols. First and foremost here, SJSU has won 2 out of 2 so far.
Wow, I mean, yeah, let's see if it's going to be 3 here, though. UCB starting off very strong. Cade and Khan dismissed from the Mortal Coil. Thane and Moon, though, on the return. Moon double tap into Goat and Zhobiii, making it a 3v2, 2v2 in favor of Not. SJSU, big opportunity to try and retake the spike in a bit of an awkward position, and UCB nearly the entire round still to try and clutch it out this pistol.
I said it. Moon was going to have to deliver here again in a completely different kind of light under the same duelist hood.
Yeah.
Next thing's a 2v2 here. Spike under their control as well. So UCB not only has to go on a recovery mission, but expand that in to the objective. And I think we're not even going to get that far. I think this is going to end here in A main with either team falling to eliminations.
The rotation around back here does catch SJSU a wee bit off guard, but is Oni going to overextend? Could cost them their lives with only 40 HP on the board just like that. And now all of a sudden, it is up to Dadston to try and clutch this out. 2v1, goes for a swing, gets a bit nervous. Pressure's on for sure. Waiting for them to overextend instead, but so much of that timer gone. We had 71 seconds, blink and you miss it, down to 20, down to zip as Dadston is removed from the fray. SJSU 3 for 3 on pistol rounds thus far.
Yep, and a great recovery off of, like you mentioned, that two-piece from Moon. And I think that's something that we are going to have to see a little bit of an adjustment period for, is these compositions being as different and as they were compared to Abyss. Like, we're not going to see, you know, UCB having a slow approach, right? This Neon's aggressive. And also, I feel like Troy with the Gecko as well. Like, it's for setup. It is for these stark executions as well. So this is interesting, though. I mean, you don't have weapons. You got to search for a pick. Might as well go mid.
Might as well go mid. I mean, the default, if you don't default, right, run it up through mid here. Into tunnel, not going to be able to get any eliminations early. The flash goes out, 45 HP. Just every U-kill under the sun is actually going to end still not in their favor. It's a 4-for-1 trade. Troy comes through, takes Moon down. And 3-1, 46 HP. Can Troy be the Guardian that UC Berkeley needs to not fall 2-0 early?
Oh, and literally they could dodge 2 bullets from the players there, literally falling behind them through water. They're gonna run into a new enemy all in its own. Thani there, closes it out, keeps those weapons, tries to hand them off. Don't think they quite got it there. So we are gonna see that kind of classic buy-up that we saw out of them over on Abyss in their second round, is they like to patch the holes in the weapons that were lost, right? They're not necessarily worried about losing. They like to go for these third round, you know, bonus conversion attempts. And look, there's an overdrive for Moon. I'm like, wait, why does Moon have a frenzy? I'm like, they're gonna pop the ult. They want this round. They want this map.
Man.
They want this ticket to May Madness.
I mean, what a way to send that message too, right? Ult in round 3. If you win the round off the back, it would be a beautiful play. I like the patience though, making sure someone's close enough to use it before they do. So often, Neons will pop that ult and then it'll run out before they find an enemy. So
yeah,
Moon
exactly.
just biting their tongue on this one, trying to ensure that it'll be a worthwhile ult. And for the time being, Moon's current location, it won't be. Gonna have to relocate and try to find some enemies.
Yeah, this is interesting. The Gecko trying to sell a pick over to A. You're like, oh, if it's a Gecko, they're gonna have Spike. It's likely over towards the A site. But SJSU not falling for it at all. The rotation to B sound. You know, we have Moon as well set up to retake with that overdrive here, very likely. But UCB getting second thoughts, getting cold feet. Maybe they realize, wait, the Desi over towards A didn't see anything. Maybe they gamble stacked the B site, because SJSU, they were known for those gamble stacks over on Abyss. They worked out more often than not, so we see this slow migration to the A site. Gonna end up being probably a split here, and I mean, I feel like Gecko might just walk in for free.
Could be kind of huge, really making some noise on A-Link here, going in, rushing an aggressive play style. Here's the util C standing in the back line. Misses that bullet, sends out the haunt. No read. Oh, the little guy goes in, takes you down. Thani not able to fire that weapon fast enough at SJSU. Well, they may be down a player. They've got a decent reapproach. Still going for the commitment here on this ultimate as well.
I like the proactivity here. Talked about it. Moon stepped up during the pace at its advantage, and unfortunately not going to be the case here. Goat, 3 kills on the round. It was left to Cade, who would have needed not a 3K, but a 4K. Unfortunately, each of these players just hold their own. That was a beautiful mid-round call from UCB, right? They almost fell into the jaws of that stack on the B side after the A fake from the Gecko. And I feel like Troy might have been the one to call and be like, hey, something's not right here over towards A. I think we can come back. And they just... very in opposite fashion. I feel like when UCB was giving up their sites, SJSU just kind of conceded that space.
Yeah, undoubtedly so. SJSU almost mirroring the way UC Berkeley played map number 1. They would consistently allow a little bit too much respect. I think SJSU tried to get in too little too late. Moon swung that corner wide, the ult in hand, walked right into a double spray, and was not able to pray their way out of that one. So hopefully this round number 4 can give SJSU the lead they want, or UC Berkeley can show us they can still punch with the best of them 2 maps into a grand final series.
I like this little aggressive play over towards A main out of SJSU, trying to change things up. Maybe trying to catch off that solo player that's been selling those fakes like Troy, but unfortunately this round it's just a good old B split. You know, the Neon dashing down, B lane clearing it out here. Rest of the team funneling down long off of that Asher smoke, and I like the tucks here, right here. Swing off of that utility, swing off the distractions, and it's all gonna work out.
4v2, I mean, they just walk in, ducks in a row, dismissed from the fight. Spike's still active, though, which I think is really beneficial for UC Berkeley. A lot of rounds we saw them lose back on Abyss had a lot to do with where the spike would fall once that player had been eliminated, and Spike's still in hand. I think really opens the door, gives them the opportunity to rotate out if they do so choose. But I'll be honest, Zhobiii, from what I'm sensing in this moment, not really seeing a rotation in their future.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Thrash if you want to try and go for the 2v4 conversion, but that's going to be difficult. And with Danny as well on the flank perspective, if you try and rotate here, Danny, I would have just bid your time. Just be patient, because they would have run right into you. Versus now, they might even just double swing you. Yeah,
now they know you're back here. You're going to have to win the 2v1 if they so choose to swing, but they go solo. Dadston, Spike, and Ham in the round. Impossible to win at this point unless 3 eliminations come out quickly. Just not sure that's going to happen. It's going to be able to bonus the rifle up and in to round number 5. Maybe that hero rifle changes the play at the end of the day, but it's going to be a whole lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda, depending on how this next round plays out.
Yeah, and again, I like kind of how SJSU has such a fundamental understanding of the economy. Like they can buy just enough to bolster that 3rd round attempt and still have a buy the following round. I think one player had a deagle, but the rest had rifles, and so they collect that upgrade in due time. And I mean, the fact they were able to rotate as well to B site so quickly after 3 players aggressed A main to clear out that space to check that box tells volumes again to how it's kind of a cadence mismatch between UCB and SJSU that's favoring SJSU. We saw that early round, I think. It turned out in their favor, but here this cadence is also misaligning.
Yeah, Moon helps the sunset on Oni's round 4. Let me tell you, round 5, I mean, we all knew that. I was testing you guys. Moon finding another elimination on to GOAT. Even if Moon goes down, the job more than done. Your goal is always to try and get 1. Anything else is a very beneficial bonus for the team. Speaking of eliminations, hey, look, there's another one. Troy, though, finding 2 wall banks of their own. Dadston equalizing the matchup. And again, it's Troy and Dadston, the last 2 left standing. This time, though, the spike has been set, and that Thrash would make a much larger impact.
Yeah, Troy's been having a heck of a series already. Even if there's only 1 round on the board for UCB, the impact has been there. And I like that you mentioned the Thrash, because it was going to buy time regardless for that rotation from Dadston, because they are the one with full HP here. They're going to have to be the tip of the spear, punishing off of this Thrash. But look at this. A detain? The 0 point? Gone. This is difficult, but not undoable.
One of my favorite things our producer does is turn off the body outlines in moments like this. I love the tension because we don't know when they're going to peak either. And just like that, Khan finds it. 6.37 seconds left on the clock, and a beautiful play. Does not quite equalize, but gets us darn close. Going to be a 4-1 win. Things staying strong for SJSU.
The nerves of steel as well when that jiggle pick is happening to get it to half as well. And then also just not folding under the time pressure there, waiting to get the frag. Probably calmed as well that Troy was super low HP there. Again, that's why Dadston took the front to swing off of the Thrash. But I also think it didn't really help there. It might have been a spike, and there might have been Cypher utility that was also suppressed from that KO knife. So again, we got to see Khan and the utility and the mechanics come in. And they were actually a sleeper over on Abyss. So them stepping up when SJSU needs it. 4-1 now.
Shot goes out, the player goes down, GOAT removed, Dadston trades, but Cade keeps the energy up and running. 3 for 2, look who's left alive once again. I'm getting deja vu, Troy and Dadston, the only standing members of UC Berkeley.
Dadston, only 2 kills this round have been from him with that deagle, very nicely done. Talk about Troy in there, in fact you're asked to do it again, and then while they don't reach the alarm bot, Jerry is there in its stead. They know where Dadston was playing for those deagle picks over towards Art. They have Spike in their control, so they don't even have to, go and explore the frontier. They just hold down the possibilities of connector, of door, and they are good to go.
I think it makes sense. You don't want to try to overextend here, but with only a sheriff in hand, be the hero, man. You've got no rifle to bonus. You might as well go in. You've killed 2 already. An ace with a sheriff. That is game-changing. That is history cementing. And you're 1 kill closer. 5 HP on the board. It's not over yet.
If they did not have 5 HP, I so would have popped a nerf. They have gotten that gun upgrade and gone for the 1v2 clutch. But with 5 HP, that's not going to, I think, be the alternate universe we stumble upon here. Just looking for, again, impact frags here. Keep SJSU's economy at bay, but with time expiring, round unwinnable as these players from the SJSU divide. Keep the insurance policy online.
Oh!
Oh.
See, the ace
Just
might
run
be
away.
all for naught, though. Yeah, just book it, grab that rifle, and get out of dodge. 5-1 now in favor of SJSU. The second time we're going to see Dadston specifically bonus a rifle into the following round. Hopefully, it has a bit more impact and can put a second round on the board for UC Berkeley.
And I love these kind of meta reads as well, as UCB is going to take a timeout.
Yep.
Like, Dadston gets the 4-piece, doesn't get the round, gets a gun upgrade, but they saw the Killjoy utility on the B site.
Yeah.
They had not done a direct to B site yet. And now they know where the mollies are, where the turret is. And that's going to allow them, if they want to go out of this timeout, into a direct B hit off these ultimates to have just the information that they need. So finding impact when you can't necessarily win a round is going to be huge from Dadston. And I'm hoping that I'm correct and that they are going to call a direct B hit.
I think I agree with that analysis pretty astutely here. And I got to say, I mean, deadlift Dadston over here, 8 eliminations on the board. That's more than anybody from SJSU right now. Dadston is top frag in lobby, 8-3. The other highest, Moon, at 7-5. So Dadston just trying everything they can to keep this team in the fight, in the mix, in the fray, and hopefully with the rifle they bonused in from that previous round, they're going to be able to put the second round down and out. This isn't a great opportunity in terms of scoreboard right now, but there is so much game left to be played.
No, for sure. And the fact that no command as well was popped on the eco round as well means that you cannot deter these 4 ultimates that UC Berkeley is going to bring into the site. So I'm wondering if SJSU is going to try and deny that space with Hunter's Fury, if they're just going to respect it and play the retake off the Cosmic Divide. It's 2 very strong possibilities. Yuri as well, only 2 off from the lockdown. So if they can, find some frags, some openings, or if Moon can and shut down these exits outright, then it'll be a whole different occurrence.
Uh-oh. Moon walking into a firefight here, but Yuri swings the corner, takes down Oni. I really thought Moon was going to be in for disaster, but look at that team communication and coordination, keeping that 5th front runner alive. Numbers advantage for SJSU. Zhobiii, I can't remember a round that SJSU lost when they had the numbers advantage.
Oh, for sure. And, UCB does not hear my plea for a direct-to-B exec, and this is what happens. They're getting pieced apart one after another. Cade replacing Khan. Dadston, though, this isn't a deagle in their hand. It is a deadly Vandal Neural Theft this time. Surely invested for the 3v3. And while they are going to be spared, it's Yuri, the other Sentinel, in the lobby to step up. 1v2, 1v1.
1v1. Astra v Gecko, and he saw your gun! No! The knife is out! Troy is down! And Fanny with a broken pinky in real life, by the way. Still able to find that clutch moment when the team needs it. 6-1 on the board. SJSU.
Wow. I said it, Troy, they're getting so close to having these hero plays, and they're
so
just ripped
close.
away round after round. I mean, same for Dadston, who, again, 11-4 is still top frag of the lobby, mind you. And while that's allowing them to, have that economic advantage over maybe their peers here, I think they're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. I mean, look, 3 players with 0 money. This is their all-in round, right? Oni, full shield classic, obviously going to pop the overdrive. I want to see them with, a direct commitment. And unfortunately, where they're going to do that is 2 players aggressing from SJSU.
Oh, Troy trying to be the hero this team is looking for. Just like the end of the greatest animated film of all time. They're holding on for a hero till the end of the night here. SJSU has a numbers disadvantage, 4-3. Let's see if they can turn this around just like that. Cade, not just 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 eliminations. Fanny into Zhobiii, 2v1. Can Dadston clutch out already over 10 elims alone? If anyone can do this, it's him.
And I love the respect SJSU is showing towards that performance, right? Lockdown popped in a 1v2 with lots of time left on the clock. Like, there's still a minute after the lockdown has already expired. Spike in their sights, but no clue about where these two players are positioned.
Saw the turret get there. Oh, they're just, honestly, what else do you do? Beautiful play. They hold it wide. The only thing that'll take them down is a collat. Would have been a bit of luck. 12 HP. I agree, Zhobiii. I think we go for the save here. Dadston, you've done enough, my friend. You've been deadlifting for 7 rounds in a row. Your back is going to give out soon. And there it is. Yuri will be able to find that elimination. Dadston falls 7-1 SJSU.
You see Berkeley. This is their map pick. And the composition change, I mean, like, there's not too much time, you know, between yesterday and today for that quarterfinals, that Pearl, for you to break down how a Reyna Neon is going to function. But when you change it this drastically, right, like, 3 of the agents are different in this lobby. It's going to change everything at the fundamental level. And UCB, they're running out of hope, running out of money. Like, the silver lining here is that they still have those ultimates because Oni was eliminated so early on. Like, you can see in the buy, right? They're hoping to use it round after round, and that prospect has just been denied. There it is. No waiting this time.
No waiting
Everything's coming in
at
here.
all. Troy trying to wait to find another opportunity here. Moon has fallen. Cade gets the trade, and Khan just keeps it up and running, man. I mean, it is every time UCB finds that round advantage. SJSU, they put them down, they turn the dream around, and they just rip that lead right from their hands. 8th round, I think, just moments away, but the two Clutch Kings on the side of UCB back in action. Can they finally find that round win they've been looking for?
Oh, I feel bad for this duo, but they have kind of been delivering at least close affairs round after round. Just enough playing divided here, but I think that you know, Killjoy utility offline, so just gonna have to go off of vibes here, and there it is. They send the wingman in without the spike just to maybe weed out these mollies that they know we're gonna be there. Now they're gonna plant actually. Interesting location. I'm wondering where Troy's gonna play off of that.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is still gonna be a 3v2.
I mean, my first thought putting that there is like, oh, maybe he's got a lineup. And then I'm like, no, he's on Gecko. He's not going to have any crazy. He's got no util either. All right, well, Troy's going to be playing from 6 feet under, it seems. Taken down by Khan. 3 players left standing. Dadston full HP. Hey, nicely done. Unfortunately, wallbang going to come through from Yuri. 8th round on the board. So a guaranteed 2-round advantage. Excuse me, 4-round advantage if UCB wins every round for the rest of this half. So SJSU in a really, really good position to try and win this out in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, that's gotta be rough. And I feel like what's, like, you know, yanking on the heartstrings right now is that UCB has not taken a breather, has not taken a step back, have not taken a timeout or a true-to-life eco round. In these last, I think, 3 or 4 rounds, they've been forcing because they're like, oh, we have these, you know, high promise ultimates like the Nightfall, like the Overdrive, and just none of them being able to convert here has now kind of put them on this downward spiral where these half buys are not cutting it.
Yeah, I think the biggest cause of loss for a lot of these teams is going to be that refusal to just go for a save round. So often we talk about you need to reset that economy, but it's that sunken cost fallacy, right? Of we'll win this round when the economy comes back. We'll win this or we'll win this round. And you continue to push up. You never have the full buy. You're missing util, or you're missing shield, or you're missing your weapon. And if you're missing any piece of the puzzle cannot be completed without a lot of luck.
Yep. Now, I mean, talk about missing pieces. I mean, no commander stripped away all of your utility, gotta disengage, gotta go back to square one. Unfortunately, I mean, this time they have that numbers advantage, right? They found an early frag, it was on that Neon as well. But Yuri, this is when they deliver, right? When they, as you said, need a hero. They play off their utility beautifully, they swing out of smokes defiantly, and UCB says, all right, we know where the Killjoy's domain is, we're not going there.
5v4, 2 ultimates in the pocket on the side of UC Berkeley, and 2 pretty darn impactful ones, if I do say so. Now, of course, holding on to one makes a little more sense until you can get closer, but to clear out sight could be done in an instant. We hear Moon go for the slide, and there's that nightmare I was just referencing a moment ago. Khan dismissed by Zhobiii, able to find that wallbang headshot, takes the player down. Troy with a 2K of their own. UC Berkeley, unless a miracle happens, should have this round in the bag.
Yeah, finally getting an opportunity to rip that Nightfall. Cade 3K, though, we've seen some impressive shots, and I mean, like you said, it would have to be the ace clutch, and there's so many angles to clear. Yeah, trap wires. It's a minefield out here.
Dog, you don't have to save, but like just save, man. Yeah, you're
Okay,
getting
max
firing
money, what do you mean?
squad. Yeah, you're getting firing squad one way or another. You might as well go for the save, maybe be the hero. He gave it his best, but golly, a tough circumstance to be in, if you ask me. Now, going into this next round here, it could be the UC Berkeley time to turn it around. They finally forced, what was that, 6 rounds in a row, and the 7th one is going to be the charm here. Winning this next 2 rounds could certainly close the gap a little bit and stop the bleeding for just a bit.
No, for sure. An 8-4 here would be everything for UCB and their hopes at May Madness remaining alive. But, I mean, interestingly enough, how do you win 6 rounds in a row and not afford to buy the first round you lose?
That's a really
Look
good
at
question.
SJSU! Stinger, Judge, Light Shield's a miss? Like, that is the question of the century, the mystery that I'll have to look back and figure out how to solve. But regardless, it's a silver lining for UCB, who now have full rifles, full shields, and a chance.
Yeah, what exactly were you guys buying? You know, we've got to figure this out. But for the time being, they do not have the weaponry that they're going to need to really hold this even. They're at a weapons disadvantage for, I believe, the first time this map. I think we really haven't seen them in this circumstance here on Pearl before. So let's see if they can work out well in this Thrifty. Maybe give us our second of the night.
Well, I know a direct B assault is coming. Finally, I get my wish, and it's on a round where the Killjoy utility is going to shred, but not going to finish the job when there's better weapons in hand. Oni, low HP, but they've done their job.
Done their job indeed. Like I referenced earlier, our plan is to always get 1 elimination before we go down. Anything else is just a huge addition and benefit for our team. Spikes down, I think the earliest it's been so far. Fanny, though, in the back line.
Wait.
Oh, no. Cade comes through. Is there a Cosmic up? It is. The site is split. The spike is down. Troy alone from this approach. The Prowler gives away a little bit of information, which I got this angle. It's huge.
Wait a
Moon
minute.
takes down
That's
Troy.
lethal.
Around that, it's quite literally lethal. Bullet through the brain. Dismisses them from the Mortal Coil. Defuse through. And, I mean, listen, SJSU has been doing really well tonight. That was the most surgical play we have seen thus far.
On an eco, too.
Yep.
Fanny, I mentioned prior, like, when it was that, like, 1v2, like, obviously just to close out the round.
Yeah.
Like, not knowing when to disengage, but they get the first pick, they realize, wait, I have a Cosmic Divide. This is exactly what we need to clutch out the round. They pop it. The follow-up is, like you said, surgical. And I think it really is attributed to the fact that there was, I don't know if it was purposeful, but there was a beautiful gap for Moon as well. So once that utility was whittled away, right, the mosh, the grab well, and you got to swing through it, you couldn't because Moon was there.
The dedication to patience here from the side of UC Berkeley. Their economy is a little bit weird. They want to try to get into the frames as fast as they can. An early Cosmic Divide should open the site just a bit. Dadson finds Khan, but every time Dadson can't do enough. Every time he gets an E with 2 more, get taken down. 4 left standing, and Troy needs to be the hero. Not quite stronger than Greece in this circumstance. SJSU double digits on the board, entering the second half of our second map.
Wow. And even better performance here on Pro with a changed composition, mind you. I'll have to dive into the archives of NECC to see if this is what they typically play on Pearl or not. And maybe that Reyna Neon was an outlier. Their confidence showing in their game against GCU Varsity. Maybe that's why it also was this close of an affair of a 13-10. Was because of that off-the-wall idea.
A bit silly, goofy.
Yeah, just silly goofy mood, and they still won. Still are undefeated now.
Yeah, exactly. Never punished.
But I have two I have a concern and I have a question. First off, I said it in the pre-show. Like, to me, this composition out of SJSU was so attack favored.
Yes.
So if you're UCB, what do you do?
Your best. You do your best. It's a solid start for sure, but I mean I've just seen UC Berkeley go down so many times and go up in the numbers and still go down is the point I'm trying to prove. And as I watch Oni take that little bit of chip damage, no shield in the pocket, just that ghost in hand, that economic reset is going to be, I think, really the last solid chance this team's going to have to try and turn this map around. And the pistol round goes in favor of SJSU. Maybe time to start packing up.
Wow. Yeah. 3v4 might think they've slipped the gap on the B site, but there is utility coming through. So are the shots from the two players that anchored this site from the get-go. And it is all on Con. Pop flash, the first frag, no choice here, but it cannot refute the shots aligning from that Ghost. A beautiful three-piece, and UCB, like, that was a must-win round if they want to get a 10-2 comeback.
Yeah, Troy, the IGL of the team, and a senior on it for Cal Blue. UC Berkeley, that's the same team for all of you who keep wondering why we're talking about two teams. But doing a great job just coming into this lineup. This clean performance from Troy. Started a little bit good, was kind of chasing the coattails of Dadston, but has since moved up and above, taking the lead. And I feel like when your IGL starts warming up, the rest of the team can't be far behind.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't even say Troy was starting to warm up because, like I said, they were having those standout moments. It just wasn't, like, you can't expect them to ace every round. Like, they were getting their 2, their 3, and it just couldn't close, like you mentioned, when they had an advantage. Now, I mean, SJSU, we've seen some thrifties in the making, but this would be a deadly one for UCB if it pans out. So I think that's why they're being so cautious.
Caution to the wind as Oni takes that elimination off corner there. Yuri gone. And with 7 rounds between them, UC Berkeley gonna have to climb. There's always gonna be another mountain, and right now 7 rounds on the board against them is really gonna hurt.
Early frag as well on the Killjoy, so if they even get to a site, flank's gonna be vulnerable, but I mean, haven't even breached like the first layers of this site for utility towards the A site, right? Trip up for art, trip up for site. Like, I see like where the puzzle pieces are starting to land, like what the plan's gonna be, but as soon as they go for this, it's just gonna be, you know, meat grinder, it feels like.
Okay, a little bit of util given away. You've confirmed that Dadston is here on this A site. He gets rid of that dart as well. Look at this approach, slow and steady, but Dadston not alone, my friends. Waiting into the corner. Oni, second elim of the round. Troy on the third, a near flawless from UCB, but Khan says absolutely not one of you is coming down with me. UCB 2 rounds in a row is the defense, the half they've been waiting for.
Again, so cautious, so trusting, and Troy, the backstab there was Chef's Kiss. Without that presence from Troy, there was a very stark possibility, I think, of that going sour.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really quick, especially because, you know, not too many bullets in the stinger. If they get that in hand out of Oni, take these close engagements, it could have been brutal, but...
Speaking of what's in Oni's hands. Oh, fascinating play here from the side of UCB.
Third round off.
I was gonna say a little bit of fascinating. You know, my friends watch me do this and then they don't stack with me anymore. So it's certainly a fascinating choice to bring to the table, and I'm curious if it's going to work well for UC Berkeley. We talked about how you can't be playing default anymore. You can't be playing traditional. You have to change the game. Maybe that's what Oni's trying to do here. Be that game changer that we need to see.
Well, unfortunately, they seem to be playing chess while the game is checkers on the B site. Nobody from SJSU venturing towards that side of the map. Mid, a big focal point, I feel like, to the start of these rounds for SJSU, time and time again. And it has devolved into site takes for A, you know, more time so far this half. But we'll see. Zhobii's trying to change that narrative, right? You're playing fairly aggressive, even when suppressed, and beautiful nade. I mean, they're going to force your respect.
Yeah, gonna be able to force you out of that box there. Zhobiii goes to retake that same angle. Oh, Troy. Is Troy that boy? Only one way to find out. Alarm bot down, Zhobiii gone. Oh, Kate, how did you know?
The timing, the alarm bot came back up the millisecond they made contact there.
A shame.
Insane. And now 3v5.
Oh, you're
talking about a 10-2 is rough when you get weapons, and yeah.
Moon dives in, catches the shot to the body, gets the shot onto Dadston though, and Oni, last player standing. Here's the loud spray, but you can't look both ways. Does put a new crater in Moon, but unfortunately Khan gets the trades. SJSU 11th round, 2 away from being the West Regional Champions.
And that's what's even more broken about the Neon is even if they don't get the kill, they're going to draw your crosshair, and someone on your team is bound to get the trade. 11-4 here once rifles come in hand. They're not going to make those mistakes, right? The pistol to follow up. There are blips on the radar, but they reset the instrument and they are setting course for May Madness in Arlington. Like you mentioned, 2 rounds off. They actually are buying the operator here for Oni. There's like, surely now they hit B, but again, it's this mid default that's been so brutal, and UCB has not made adjustments against it.
Yeah.
Other than maybe 3 art. This is an interesting play.
Let's see if it behooves Moon to go somewhere else. Wow. Wow! Oh, I thought Moon was a shoo-in to go down significantly earlier. Now, luckily, Dadston does find that 2K early, and with that operator still in hand, Oni running what I love to call the plastic cannon. It's not quite the glass cannon. You know, you bought the light or shields, but you still don't have that full shield online, so you're going to be a little bit more susceptible to being shot, you know, as most people are.
Yeah, you'll be able to survive, you know, a few, and maybe an extra body shot, but...
Yeah.
Aside from that, that huge gamble, the 3-stack on art, only pays off because Dadston gets 2, right? So the 3v3 site cleared out, but this is what I talked about. This composition, look who's left alive for SJSU. The post-plant players. Shock darts, swarm grenades, Gravwell. That's why that Thrash saw nobody on site. They're playing for the sheer time factor. And when it met with the wingman on the other side, that's your only silver lining, but even that's going to get disrupted.
Wingman gets taken down early on, uses a lot of the utility to dismiss Wingman, though. Troy, through the smoke here, he finds it.
Save
and
called?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. We're not going to be seeing it here. Everybody's going to be going for the save last second. You need those rifles. I agree with this save through and through, to be honest. You need as many rifles as you're going to be able to get going into what could possibly be your final round played here tonight. 12-4 in favor of SJSU. If they win this, they are the West champions, and they have secured their spot in Texas next year.
You know, respect for the save as well. It was just more the speed in which they decided, wait, guys, we gotta go. Just astounding there. But like you mentioned, it was kind of a must-have. And Oni, again, there you go, plastic cannon as you mentioned it. And this time, look at this, they're gonna get their firing range. You know, SJSU has finally agreed to play chess, and we'll see if Oni has the right opening.
Oh, man. I guess Oni playing chess here could be called a Queen's Gambit, if you will, and the Gambit does not pay off. Khan hits him with a checkmate, and that might be game for SJSU. Only 4 eliminations away from being able to call themselves champions and take a trophy home here tonight, buy themselves a chance at another trophy in May of next year. K3K Khan into another SJSU, 1 player left, and they have done it. SJSU has punched their ticket and become the West Regional champions. They have punched their ticket to Texas this year as well. A beautiful performance for a team that was desperate to get back in that mix in 2025. SJSU, a team to look out for.
Into Texas and getting in. And gentlemen, if I may squeeze into the frame real quickly, guys, congratulations on your win, first and foremost for you. And I know that we're deciding on who to talk to, but it turned out to be the bottom frag. So as punishment, who was it? Con was it? All right, Con, come on over here. All right, so this. I shouldn't say this is a punishment though, because you guys got the win. So how are you feeling?
We're feeling good. A little tired because, you know, we have to wait a while, but at the end of the day, we got the win, and we're excited. We're going to have some fun after this.
Did you guys play CFL earlier today as well?
No.
Well, you guys got to win here, so, I mean, it's got to feel pretty good to be trophy, and then now you guys are going to get to go to Texas in 25.
Yeah, we're very excited for that. We're going to make sure we're well prepped for it, unlike last time.
Unlike last time, yeah. We won't tell the story of how that happened, how that played out, but I do want to. I know you were the bottom frag. Who's my top frag, though? Who's my MVP? Who's? Wait, so you went from top to bottom frag?
I was at the bottom of the first map, but I was at the top of the second map, so I don't know why.
You were top of first map. All right, so give us your gamer tag real quick, and then how are you feeling after this one?
K3K, feeling pretty good. You know, last year we lost to SFU in the finals of this regional. It was 1-2. It was pretty heartbreaking because it was 8-11, and they came back on us, and then we ended up losing them to CVAL right after. So it was a pretty tough day.
Oh, man. Well, not a tough day at all. In fact, you guys did have to wait a little while to play in the finals. Didn't play in CVAL, but obviously you had that big gap. And then guys came out and pretty much dominated the entire floor. Tell me, what for you guys now, you're guys are about 6 months away from Texas. You guys excited for that trip?
Yeah, we're pretty excited. Looking forward to see how Valorant's going to be at that time. You know, patches could change everything.
I know that the school won it back in Atlanta in 2022 for San Jose State. Now you get to go back to Texas, or you get to go to Texas in 2025. Question, guys, for all of you, is this SJSU's year to win it all?
We'll see about that. You know, we're pretty.
I was about to say, let me hear it.
Hell yeah, we're winning this. Oh, yeah, I can't.
Whoa, okay.
We're winning.
We're winning. All right. That's the sentiment I got. Come on back in. Like, don't be out of frame. Yeah, you were just being punished for being the bottom frag on one map. But anyways, all right. One last question, guys, for all of you. Who are you guys? Are any of you guys seniors here? Yeah, 3. Okay, so you 3 seniors. One last ride here, going to Texas. What is it you want to accomplish when you guys get there? I'll start with you, Cade.
Dub, obviously. You know, flawless dub.
Just trying to have fun, no regrets, you know?
Just going there. We already accomplished what I wanted. That's all I wanted.
That's all you wanted. So, congrats, guys. Take that trophy home. Only, by the way, about a 2-hour drive away for you guys as well. So, not too bad. You don't have to travel too far to get that trophy back to your place. So, congrats, guys. CECC West champions.